Hello everyone, it's Betsy with the Seattle Public Library again, and of course here's Millie. And we have some special friends here today too. What's this, Millie? What's that? Ooh, ooh, she's not too excited. We're gonna let her go down. There you go. We have an owl and we have a blue jay. Because today our early learning together activity is going to be looking for birds. Did you see Miss B's story time earlier this week? Birds are everywhere. Well, they are everywhere, aren't they? Check out her story time. She shared some great books with you. But today we're going to do 3 things. We're going to bring birds in closer to us because we're going to make a bird feeder. Then we are going to sit quietly and use our eyes and our binoculars that we're going to make to try and spot the birds. And then the third thing is that we're going to tell our story by telling the adults the words you want them to write down, and then you can draw a picture of what you saw. So 3 things for looking for birds today. Let's get started. So here we go. We're ready to start with our bird feeder. All you need is a paper cup or a plastic cup. This one's a nice small little one. Any kind of cup or a yogurt container or whatever you have. And I used a plain white one so that I could first color on it. Yes! Make my own designs. I like this blue. Blue-green I'm gonna do next. It's kind of a blue. And I think I'll take some red polka dots at the top. Yeah. So you can color as much as you want. I'll stop here because we have much bigger things to do than color, but there we go. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take a hole punch. And so you need a cup and you need string to make these bird feeders. And the string I used is some string, and I made them all the same length. I made them as long as my ruler, and my ruler happens to be 15 inches. So I just, whoops, there goes my bird seed. So I just cut it at the end of the ruler. It's important that they're the same length because then it will hang straight. And I took a hole punch and I punched a hole right here, and then right directly across I punched another hole, right there. And guess what that's for? Not the string. It's for a pencil to sit in, just like that. So then your bird has something to perch on when they want to eat. Because it's important that they have a stick or something that they can sit on to then eat the bird seed. Okay? So 2 holes that way. And then then we need 3 more holes. So how many holes is that all together? There's 1 hole there, and 1 hole here, and 1 hole here. This is for our string. And then another hole and another hole. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. Yes. And that is that. And that is all the holes we need, because now it's time to tie the string. And you might need some help from a grown-up with this, because tying knots are kind of hard, but you can also learn. Maybe your grown-up can show you how to tie a knot. That would be very fun. I have to do it 2 times to make it stay. 1. Oh, my string's getting away from me. And 2. And then I have one more string to put in the last hole. There we are. Okay. I am ready to fill my feeder. So let me show you up close. It's important that the string is 3 spots that are pretty equal from each other. So this is about the same length as this is about the same length as this is, because then when you hang it up, it won't tip around. It will stay pretty even when you hang it. All right? So in this activity, we are measuring. We're measuring with the string. We're punching holes, which take a lot of muscles. And we're coloring. We're learning to hold the crayon or a marker or a pen. And now we're going to fill it up. Here comes the bird seed. Oh, look at that. Oh, I filled it up a little high. It's coming out the holes. Isn't that great? And here is our bird feeder. I'll get my hands out of the way. There we go. And the next thing we want to do is make our binoculars. And for this we have to measure again, and we have to practice cutting, and you can draw on these too. So I just simply put my toilet paper tubes. I need 2 toilet paper tubes, or any kind of tubes you want. If you have tubes that go around some tin foil or some wrapping paper, you can cut them and use them too. And I just put it against the edge of my paper and marked a line, and then put it against the edge of the paper up here and marked a line. I took my ruler, and this is how you measure. I connected those 2 lines and drew across. Isn't that cool? Now, watch this. I'm going to find my scissors, and I'm going to simply cut this paper on that line. So you're practicing some cutting skills today too. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an idea. And then I'm going to cut it in half, because we don't need the whole thing, which means I folded it like this, and then I'm going to cut it in half like this. Very easy. Oh, and one more snip. Snip. Now, this is the fun part. You can color it first. Let's color it first. And this time I'm going to use orange, and I'm going to make orange squiggles. Squiggles. Coloring it. Let's color, yeah, it's easier to color when it's flat like this. And I'm going to make some more fun things, like maybe some grasses or something. I don't know what. And I think I'm going to take this blue and make some more polka dots. Just some dots. Okay? And while I do that, then we are going to cover our binoculars with this paper. You just wrap it around, and this is when you definitely need somebody else's hands. I wonder if I can do this. Ho, ho, ho. I hope so. I'm holding it, and I'm going to take a piece of tape. So 4 hands will definitely work better than 2. And I'm going to tape it right down, just like that. Right? I hear Millie. She wants to come back in. I just let her out. Like that. And there, that's one binocular. I do the same thing for the other binocular, and then we tape them together, right? And when we tape them together, we then can look through, we can then use them to look through, and I'll show you what I mean when we go outside. I think I'm also going to put a hole on the edge here and a hole on this edge and tie a string to it so that then they can go around my neck. So far, we have practiced so many things. We have practiced measuring. We have been playing with our scissors and cutting, practicing. I sometimes call practice and playing the same thing because they really are. You're exploring with the things you're trying out, new things like cutting and measuring. We're practicing or playing with a pencil, a crayon, a pen, so that we can then learn how to do that when it's time to write with our pencils and write words. It's good practice to color. And then we are also in this activity using our patience, because it's going to take a while for the birds to find our bird feeder. We're going to have empathy, because it's going to be really nice to see birds learning how to eat from our bird feeder. And we're going to feel good about feeding them. And we're going to practice being still. So those are all things that we also are practicing, our emotional part. All right? And the empathy is really about hungry birds who will then not be so hungry because we're feeding them. All right? All right. There, I taped them together just like that. And now I'll punch, my hole is punched. I'll have to punch it again because I covered it up. And now I'll tie this string. I think I'll cut it first and tie it. And then we are ready. There are binoculars. And you know, grown-ups, binoculars are a great tool because it will help kids focus. Even if it's just 2 cardboard tubes, it helps them focus on a little piece of what they're seeing. Okay, the third thing we're going to do is write our story, tell our story. And I am going to tell the story of the bird that I saw. And I'm going to write it down. And if you don't have the ability to write letters yet, don't worry. All you have to do is tell the story, and the grown-ups, be sure to write exactly what they say because it is their own story. So I'm going to pretend that I'm just talking, and I'm going to say things like, today I saw, I saw, I put all my uhs. A big black bird. And my dad told me it was a crow. And I wrote it down, and then you can draw the pictures. But you're still getting to tell your story because your grown-up is writing down exactly what you said. And after you tell them the story, then they read it back to you, right? There's your journal. So here we are, ready to hang up our bird feeder outside. I found the perfect little branch, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the ground just to invite them, kind of to tease them. And maybe put a little bit up here on the branch just so that they can see that this is a bird feeder. And if you live in an apartment and you don't have a tree and you don't maybe have outdoor backyard, that's totally fine. Take your bird feeder to a park next time you go to play. Hang it up outside, far away from when you're playing, because it will be not as scary for the birds. And then go over and sit down on the ground or on a bench and take your binoculars and look around for birds. Just like that. Binoculars really help you zoom in on looking at one thing. You might see birds, you might never see birds. That's just the way it goes. At your bird feeder, you will always see birds all over the place, right? Right. Let's go back inside. That was fun, wasn't it? Okay, and now I want to just quickly describe a few books that you might like to check out from the library. This is called Ruby's Birds, and it's by Maya Thompson. And I love this story because it's all about a little girl who lives in a city and she can look for birds with her friend. Yes, she lives in an apartment building in the city. So there are birds everywhere. You don't have to be in the country. You know that. You've seen seagulls and crows and chickadees, I'm sure you've seen, and ducks. Lots of birds. So that's a beautiful story. Another fun bird story is called Little Owl Lost by Chris Haughton. And this is a funny, funny story where the animals actually talk. And look at those illustrations. Aren't they crazy? Yes, very fun. Then if you want to know more facts about birds, I have 2 books that are nonfiction, they're called. I'm hearing a bell ring. Do you hear that bell? That's Millie telling me she wants to go outside. She can wait, but that's what the bell means. This book is about flamingos. Look how brilliant the photography is. It's in a series of books by the Seedling, and that's the name of the series, Seedling. I'll put a link in the description below for the grown-ups. There are brilliant pictures, beautiful photos, and simple text that tells you lots of things about birds. And the other series that's nonfiction is National Geographic Kids, Explore My World. This also has fabulous photography and great text. So check out those books at the library now that you can get inside some of our libraries to browse. Yes, fantastic. Yes, all right. See you next time. Bye from Betsy and the Seattle Public Library. I gotta go let Millie out. Bye.